it doesn't change with age. But the thing is, I feel that these fears and freakouts that girls my age have are what holds us back from trying new things and putting ourselves out there. Girls my age seldom are willing to be anything but collected and cute. And why is that? Girls my age are so focused on how boys see them or how other girls judge them. Too often are we willing to define ourselves by how others see us, and too often are we willing to deem our own self-worth by how we are on the outside. Now, I stand up here fully aware that I am no better than any girl who does that, because I have in the past. No matter how much I try, I still do in the present, and hopefully I will stop doing in the future. Honestly, the thing about fears and freakouts is I embarrass myself a lot. It's actually a little bit ridiculous, and I have a story to share with you guys. So I'm really involved with leadership at my school, and last year I was actually the junior class president. At our welcome back assembly, there was to be a president's game, where the four different presidents from 4 different schools would compete against each other in a game. And that year, the game was decided to be a log roll, where we would have to roll like logs to one end of the gym and then run back. Now, I'm a senior now, and thinking back through my high school career, I think of all the things that have happened and my pivotal lessons and important moments, and I realized that this game was a really big one because I learned something really, really important about myself. I suck at log rolling. So 10 seconds into the game, I started getting really dizzy really fast. And it turns out that, unlike the other 3 presidents, who were just rolling in a straight line, I somehow managed to zigzag while somehow circling around in circles. I think that in and of itself takes talent, so I like to say that. Not only that, it turns out that I wasn't just going forwards. For some reason, since I didn't know where I was going, I was also going backwards. And it got to a point where one of the judges stopped me, grabbed me by the shoulders, looked me in the eyes, and said, "Just run back." After the race, I was 2 things. 1, extremely dizzy, and 2, absolutely mortified. I couldn't believe that the entire school had just seen me like that, especially the seniors, especially the senior boys. And I just couldn't believe what had happened, and people definitely remembered. So many people made fun of me. For the next couple days, it was brutal, and I was so embarrassed. But then I decided to look at this situation objectively, and I started laughing. Because if it were anyone else, I would have laughed at them. So I decided to laugh at myself. And when I did that, the teasing stopped, because it's not possible, really, to laugh at someone that's already laughing at themselves. The thing is, I learned then that no matter how mortifying or embarrassing something may be in the moment, it will just be fine if I just sit down and laugh at myself. And I do that a lot. So the thing is, I feel that girls my age are too afraid to laugh at themselves and too afraid to be anything but cute. Oftentimes in school dances, you'll see little groups of girls standing in a corner, kind of dancing, hoping someone asks them to dance, and judging the night based on how many people ask them to dance, and judging each other by how they're seen on the outside. This year, my friend and I decided to create a huge group of boys and girls who went absolutely crazy at the dance. We were out there in the middle of the dance floor making up our own dance moves, doing the classics, the sprinkler, had to do that, the milking the cow, and our favorite new one that we thought was so funny, pushing the old lady in her wheelchair. Thinking back, I also attempted to b-boy, and for those of you who don't know what that is, it's like doing spinning tricks on the ground on your head. But please, notice how I said attempt. I made an absolute fool of myself rolling on the ground, but I noticed that as I started to let loose, so did others. Who knew that courage could be contagious? The thing is, this irrational fear that girls my age have, where we're so afraid to be anything but cute and so afraid of how others see us on the outside. This fear and this mentality, I believe, is carried on to not just the small things. Girls my age seldom push themselves or put themselves out there. I think there's still a need for us to encourage each other and push ourselves to pursue those underrepresented and daunting career paths. I'm going to share a statistic that I'm sure you all here are very familiar with, that I share with girls my age to show them why there is still a problem. Only 4.2% of Fortune 500 company CEOs are women. How crazy is that? I can't even believe that, like 4.2%. This shows me that there's a need for not only girls, but also women, to break free and stop being afraid. To stop underestimating ourselves, something I often do. After taking a hard math test, I'll always ask my best guy friend, "How do you think you did?" His response, every single time, "I didn't even study and I got an A." My response, "I was up all night and I messed up on the last two problems and I probably got an A, but I don't even know why I try so hard." And the tests come back and we get the same score. The thing is, how many times have you guys seen not only girls, but also women underestimate themselves? This actually reminds me of another story. So I went to this play called Photograph 51 about the women scientist Rosalind Franklin. And for those of you who don't know about Rosalind Franklin, her photograph that she took, Photograph 51, was the one that Watson and Crick used to make their Nobel Prize winning DNA double helix model. This academic injustice has caused a lot of controversy over the role of women scientists. And afterwards, there was a really interesting Q&A panel where 2 female and 2 male scientists were discussing the role of women scientists today. And one of the questions that was asked to the board was, do women scientists still face discrimination today? Thankfully, the board agreed that there was no outright discrimination, but something that one woman scientist told me, or told the crowd, really stood out to me. She talked of how often, before talking to colleagues, most often male colleagues, she would take off her nail polish so that she didn't come off as less intelligent. I remember that frustrating me so much because here was this incredibly qualified woman with a PhD. Why was she underestimating her ability to prove herself when she had no reason? Now I want to ask you here in the audience, how many times have you underestimated yourself? How many times have you not raised your hand and shared your great or bold idea just because you're afraid of how someone else in the audience may react? I truly am up here believing that my generation will be the one to even out this playing field, and that it all starts with high school girls realizing that we fear and freak out about things that we don't need to, and that we can do it. But it also starts with women, strong women such as yourselves, to show us that it can be done, and to set a strong role models for us and help us get there. Let's all just stop freaking out. Let's all stop fearing. Let's all stop underestimating ourselves. Let's start taking risks, and let's start all rolling like logs.